Beast from the East, and you're watching Lights Out.
This is Lights Out. I'm Faisal Khan, and I'm joined by the president of Showtime Sports, Stephen Espinoza. Stephen, how are you doing today? You okay?
Great. I'll have to speak loudly to speak over Tyson. You know, his voice carries. Huh?
First of all, is this one of the biggest fights that Showtime has, featured in a very, very long time?
It certainly is one of the biggest heavyweight fights that Showtime has featured, or quite honestly, anyone has featured in America in probably close to 2 decades. I think you'd have to go back to Tyson versus Lewis or Lewis Klitschko to see a heavyweight fight in the U.S. of this significance, of this importance. And I think the audience is going to respond accordingly. This is a big, big event for the U.S. market.
As the president of Showtime, how excited are you to have got this fight to go ahead? Because for many weeks we had rumours that the fight wasn't going to happen, negotiations weren't going through, there wasn't a venue available, but now it's done. It's scheduled to happen on December the 1st. How excited are you to see this fight going ahead?
We're extremely excited, and there's a certain level of excitement, an extra cachet, an extra buzz that goes with the heavyweight division. And there's nothing quite like a big heavyweight fight. So there's that element of it as well. But we have not just that, you have 2 great personalities. It's hard to pick a side in this fight. I mean, certainly American fans and British fans have their favorites, but they're 2 very likable, charismatic, funny, witty, interesting guys. And that's not something you get in every fight. It's not often that you have both sides which are likable and sellable and marketable. And here we have that, and then some.
Many people will regard this as Deontay Wilder's biggest test so far in his career. What would you make of claims of that?
It's certainly one of the top 2. You could argue Luis Ortiz because of the danger there with Luis Ortiz's power. Mm-hmm. But I think people underestimate the risk for Deontay Wilder in this fight.
Yeah.
There is no one in the heavyweight division with the skill set that Tyson Fury has. He's one of the best boxers in the sport of boxing. He's without question the most skilled boxer in the heavyweight division. I'd say that bar none, and one of the top in the sport. So he presents a unique set of challenges for Deontay.
Yeah. If you were as a boxing fan, if you were a betting man, looking at how well both fighters have done in their career, both undefeated, both fought some top fighters, who would you put your money on for this fight?
It's a tough call. If I was forced to do it, I might say Deontay, just because he's been busier, he's been more active, and although Tyson's had the 2 comeback fights, he still hasn't been quite as active. But I wake up tomorrow morning, I can give you a different answer. I mean, I think what you have is 2 very different styles that match up well. You have a huge puncher, you have a very skilled boxer. It's a classic matchup. It's really tough to pick.
Also, HBO have called time on showing live boxing. What did you make of that?
It wasn't a complete surprise, but it was a surprise sort of how and when it happened. As a fan, it's a bit of a disappointment because they have been a big part of the sport. But for us, it doesn't change our business. We've been.
Does this eliminate a bit of competition though?
A bit, although now we've had over the last 6 months, new entrants in at least the U.S. market for that competition. So the competition really doesn't change, whether it's ESPN or Fox or HBO or others. We still have to focus on our business, and our belief is we are still going to continue to have the best matchups in the business, the biggest fights. We're thrilled to have other people in the sport and new networks that are in the sport and enthusiastic about it. But for the past several years, we've been featuring the biggest fights, the best fighters, the biggest stars, and we believe that will continue for the foreseeable future.
One final question. I know you've obviously probably had this question asked to you so many times, but can we expect to see the winner of this fight take on the other heavyweight champion in Anthony Joshua on April the 13th at Wembley?
I'm not sure it'll happen in April, but I do think it will happen fairly soon. I think, and the reason I say April, I'm just not sure, under the conditions that Eddie has proposed, that'll get done quickly enough. Eddie has been very clear that, Joshua's not going to wait beyond December 1st. And I'm not sure that either Wilder or Fury will be keen to sign a contract before this fight is done. So putting that aside, I do think that the groundswell of public support is in favor of having a unification fight. So whoever the winner of Wilder Fury is, I think there'll be a tremendous amount of pressure for that person to match up with Anthony Joshua as quickly as possible. So whether it's April or whether it's later in the year, I do think that you'll have that huge unification fight by the end of 2019. That's my personal belief.
Right, Stephen, thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay in the UK, and we look forward to speaking to you soon.
Great, thank you.